call all the action. It's over to you, Jim and Jake. Let's get into it.
Hello and welcome back. My name's Jake Asterix, Aussie Penko, joined by the lovely James Cowan, also known as Jim Nesso. And I tell you what, I'm not biased against Sirix. I'm not biased against anyone. I'm neutral all the way, and everyone's great.
And look, we picked Perth Ground Zero because we actually watched the game.
Oh yeah, that's right. We saw them take down Melbourne Order. Look, man, well done, because we picked the sensible answer, I think, here in predictions. We've already had one upset, though. What dictates an upset in this series, though, James Cowan?
Well, I mean, in terms of upsets, I don't think either team winning here is going to be an upset because everybody's split on this one. Last time they played, it was a coin flip in terms of who was going to win it. It was very closely contested then. I feel as though it's going to be closely contested here. 3-1, I think, was the scoreline last time. This time, a lot more on the line for these teams. It's not league play anymore. This is the business end of the series. Let's see what they got.
Who joins Melbourne Avant in the finals? We've had one upset today. The Chiefs are out. Perth Ground Zero, Melbourne Order, it begins now. Who will join them? The best of 7, change in format. You elongate these series for Delusion. On top of that net, that's the first setup. The Dumbo slow to the ball, works out. Perth Ground Zero have to be careful. Melbourne Order, they go from defense to attack in a split moment. And that is the danger.
Express said it best too, the fact that Chiefs are out of the competition. Everybody's buoyed by that fact. They feel as though it's within reach now. And winning this match is going to go a long way towards putting their hand on that trophy at the end of the Gfinity Elite Series.
It is.
But there is still a Rocket League Series to play at. Two close rivals. Two teams that are very, very closely matched in terms of what they bring, as they do try and make that attacking play work here.
The setup was there. Melbourne Order, they've just turned it again. Remember, that's what we said. They can turn defense into offense in a split moment. For Melbourne Order, they come close again. Try to chip that one in, and Dumbo comes slight. A little bit to the left. Now off that backboard, the other touch. Express was ready to dunk it down. Perth Ground Zero still on this defense. Dangerous moment as Melbourne Order are right where they need to be. On the wing now, Delusion stealing the ball away. One defender left. Delusion centers it, but a block there. Sicky for the final shot, and he gets the first one of the series.
And that will just relieve a little bit of pressure, as that first goal always does in these first matches of the series. Now, in this one, it is a bit of a touchy-feely affair in terms of how they're sounding each other, how they're playing. It's a best-of-7 series. There isn't that afforded luxury because they do have that extended series now moving into the semi-finals. But look for both these two teams to really bring it. We saw Order last week against the Chiefs. They brought a faster game style. They were definitely matching Chiefs in terms of pace there, and it made for a really entertaining close series. And we know that they're capable of that now. We hadn't seen that previously. Express and Shady had done a fantastic job of linking up together with the passes. Look for more of that in this matchup.
Well, good demo there, but can they turn the ball around? Delusion with the clear. Denied again as Melbourne Order get close, and the pass back to Express. Delusion stands still as Sirix goes for the challenge. That ball not wide open. Delusion just lobs it towards, and Dumbo there for a defensive clear. Immediately Melbourne Order trying to launch that counter-attack, but Perth Ground Zero trying to play their fast style. Sicky will launch it against the wall, which nothing really comes of it. Delusion brings it back, and Sirix ready for the final touch, but he's run out of boost. So has Delusion, and Perth Ground Zero, the last moment of this play, now comes to an end as Melbourne Order. Let's see what they can do.
Just that ball being hotly contested in midfield at the moment. There's a chance on goal here, but no redirects coming through. Unfortunately, couldn't get there. No boost in that end. But for the moment, Melbourne Order just trying to pass those balls out defensively and finding that mark. But
close.
It is not really being cleared at all, unfortunately, for Melbourne Order. They're just having to absorb a lot of pressure, but not a lot of boost at the moment. But that being said, Express has done a good job of clearing it. Passes into the midfield here. They need to start linking up.
Well, Express has set it down for Dumbo. The shot blocked again by Sicky, and a great save there, but Shady's nailed one through, almost heads towards the net, and Express is here to finish the play off the roof towards that net, and the touch from Dumbo.
Bringing it back to one apiece now too, and that was a great touch off the roof as well. Just a different way of bringing it back down as well. Just that awareness too from Dumbo to pounce on that.
3 defenders. Dumbo gets it through anyway.
Yeah, and he is one of their, I guess, best outlets for scoring too.
Yeah.
Dumbo really brings a lot to the table on that score sheet. He's going to need to in this series as well. Perth Ground Zero, no slouches in that department either.
Yeah. Melbourne Order equalise immediately, but a minute 40. Delusion now off the corner. Sirix is there. Hit many of those shots before, but Melbourne Order, they're not committing up to this ball. Express has to hit that backboard and turn the defense into offense soon. Pop over the top from Shady, but Delusion just takes back control. Sirix Bit of an underreach there, if you want to call it that. Shady with the pass. Angles in anyway. Wow. Melbourne Order fighting back.
That is a great goal too. As well, that infield pass here from Express. We saw these guys.
Just the tip.
They were wrecking balls. Absolutely wrecking balls in the earlier part of the Gfinity Elite Series. And now, coming to the finals, they've linked up once again for another cracking goal. Let's give Melbourne Order the edge here. Minute 20 to play. A lot of Rocket League time left for Perth Ground Zero to get themselves back into this. But match number 1, as we saw in the last series, it goes a long way towards setting your team up for the rest of the series.
It does, but for Melbourne Order, all about that defense, those clears that make its way across the full length of the pitch. Delusion now for the play. He's got to pass one defender. The pass back to Siki. He'll pop it up to the roof, and I think for Perth Ground Zero, they're in a pretty good position. They need to get it out of the corner where Dumbo has just been clearing the ball. 50 seconds remaining. A clear again that comes through from Express. Siki up for it. To the side. From the left wing, Dumbo waits for that pinch up. They'll set it up nicely for Sirix. He just passes it down the length of the field. 40 seconds remaining. Siki and Sirix are here. They get it through one, but everyone's on this left wing. Siki centers the ball. Delusion just wants to get it away, but Ground Zero grouping up a little bit here. Close quarters. Will it bite them in the bum? I'm not sure. And I'm not sure if I can say bum, but it doesn't matter. Express gets the third one anyway.
And they hammer that one home here. Express now just putting this game at ease. There's a lot on Perth Ground Zero's shoulders. They're probably going to turn their focus now into that second match, but Melbourne Order have done a good job of just laying the foundations of a good series.
But not just that, Perth Ground Zero, they go on the attack and sometimes they just forget that there's a net on the other side of the field, and Melbourne Order always have the ability to launch that counter-attack. I've said it once, I'll say it many, many times. 15 seconds remaining. And this one, game 1, a great start for Melbourne Order. From what was Perth Ground Zero, really taking off. But then they just didn't get any more opportunities. It kind of came crashing down.
No, Melbourne Order got their gameplay going where they start to really constrict people in that midfield, and that passing play from them was superb.
There it is.
So they round out the first match in this series, and in terms of getting themselves off to a good start, they've done a good job. Shady there looking quite comfortable. Express, they're linking up really, really well. And
Dumbo's there as well.
Dumbo also contributed quite well.
It's like there's 3 people on a team, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like they also shared all the responsibility. 1 goal apiece as well. And, their rotations were quite good.
But not just that, look, there are a lot of shots from Perth Ground Zero, but it was that first goal getting through the defense of Melbourne Order. But after that, Melbourne Order like, right, we cannot overcommit for this ball. We cannot send every which way member towards the ball, and they kind of short themselves up. Especially in that moment there, which was a beautiful shot from Shady.
Well, that was a cracking goal. We've seen him absolutely nail some great shots, some great goals so far. And that just adds to the highlight reel.
Well, you'd hope so. At this point in time, Melbourne Order.
That touch there, unfortunate for Siki.
But I think by that stage anyway, Melbourne Order, they've already shown so much control and they weren't losing that first game. So game 1 goes over to them, but Melbourne Order have shown in the past that they cannot keep consistency throughout longer series. They've fallen behind before, so we want to see that level of consistency applied to the series against Perth Ground Zero.
That's right. It's a best of 7 too, so there's a lot on the line here, but it is across a couple of matches. So there's not as much pressure on that first match as there is in, say, a best of 5 series.
Yeah.
Get it.
So they have that luxury now, but they know what their opposition are bringing. They know that they need to just up their game a little bit, maybe be a little bit faster on that ball as well. You said they did a lot of good things in the attack, but it's just that finishing touch, that shot on the end of all that great passing play that was missing from the piece.
Very disciplined Perth Ground Zero. You know that to be true as game 2 takes off now, and Zirix, slow bang if you want to call it that. Delusion. Second save comes from Express, and 2 early shots from Perth Ground Zero as they get cleared upon. Melbourne Order back in position, and 1 shot is all they want to take. It goes wide. Express comes close, but Melbourne Order doing what they do best.
Constricting their opposition, holding them in. Sirix there, challenging that one. There's been so many blocks in this game already, I feel like I'm looking at a Lego set.
Unfortunately, you got to build it up for Perth Ground Zero. They take some time.
Follow the instructions.
Now for Sirix and Delusion. Clear being denied once again, but Siki just leaves the ball, and this is an opportunity for Shady. Just lobs it in. Siki to the side, but Shady's still here as a full taker boost as he denies that corner from Delusion. Now back in position. Dumbo's there, leaves it. And Shady will be the recovery right here and now. Hit that back wall, but I think the play's come to an end as Shady plates the bump out. Express is there anyway. Down it goes. Maybe Melbourne Order have the stamina in them.
Maybe they do, and there we go. Shady, Express. Once again, that 1-2 combo we've seen so many times deliver, and they put the opening score on the board for Melbourne Order. So, first ground 0. You need to work themselves back into this match because they're working from behind. They've done some good things already. Sirix probably hasn't got as far forward as we'd like to have seen him. We know that when Delusion's playing quite well, it really enables Sirix to get forward. Siki probably hasn't had the performance he wanted so far, but good signs from him already. So they just need to make sure that they're actually converting those passing plays into chances now.
Well, right now, in front of net, Melbourne Order find themselves again. Dumbo's there for the side. This is just not good for Perth Ground Zero, consistently on the defense as Melbourne Order continue to strangle them out. Slower plays from Perth Ground Zero will not work out. Siki, Sirix around that midfield will try and push the ball up, but a counter clear. Melbourne Order just aim for net. Siki gets the saving medal, but isn't going to come through again. Hits the crossbar back on that backboard, and Melbourne Order, shot after shot, peppering that net. Immediately, I'm just scared for Perth Ground Zero because Melbourne Order are just here to win, and they're here to fight.
And they get let off the hook too on the, I guess, a misplaced pass from Melbourne Order. So there was a lot of defending that had to be done there. Perth Ground Zero got themselves very much in, I guess, territory where they were being constricted. And now they find themselves a momentary reprieve, but they need to deal with these balls at the back. They haven't been able to do so. They haven't had the boost in the tank, but there we goes the chance. As they do get themselves forward, but they need to be careful here because we know Melbourne Order are great on that counter-attack.
The Siki's come all the way up. The setup play from Perth Ground Zero is pretty good here, and they get off of the defense. That's what's crucial. Siki waiting in the midfield. Melbourne Order ready to put them back on. Siki gets demoed. Express there. Back to Dumbo. But the corner denied. So Express has to come back in. Leave it to Shady. Dumbo's still there. And Melbourne Order trying to collapse around this corner. But Perth Ground Zero holding out for now. Still 1 goal remaining. Express just said, yep, it's going in anyway. And 2-0 start. Melbourne Order. Even after that defense from Perth Ground Zero.
Just needed to leave it here in the end too. But Perth Ground Zero did a lot of defending there, a lot of defending, and unfortunately when you spend long periods of time in defence, against a team like Melbourne Order, they do a really good job of just, I guess, restricting the amount of boost you can get as well. So you need to make sure that when you get a chance to clear, you take it. But Perth Ground Zero just slow to start here in this series, and yes, they do afford themselves an extra amount of time with the
Ducks down
series. But Dumbo, there we go.
Nicely done there from Melbourne Order. And it is just a showcase here. The defense from Perth Ground Zero, there's times when I'm like, yeah, this is great. They'll be able to clear from this. There's other times when I'm like, what is going on here? This is not the Ground Zero we saw against Melbourne Order. But this is definitely the Melbourne Order that we were expecting here during league play and during the semi-finals.
It is certainly the case here, but
No,
Express.
no,
Stop it.
the bouncer. It'll hit the crossbar. But style points for trying, as I always say. 3 goals. Siki trying to even that a little bit there as he comes close. Express lobs it off to the side from the corner they play. The clear's still there. And it's a big one as Melbourne Order continue to use the momentum of that ball, which is not a lie. 1:30 remaining. Melbourne Order, I think they might have done enough here to secure it as Dumbo just comes in to put the finishing touches on what could be another goal.
Very difficult deficit to overturn here, 3-0. And you're going to need more than just a little bit of luck to do it in this regard, but it is doable.
It's not just that. It's not just that. For Perth Ground Zero, this is not the performance we were expecting.
No, that's
today.
right. They haven't gone forward and created chances like we've seen them do. We haven't seen Sirix and Delusion really enable, I guess, Perth Ground Zero to get themselves out.
Sticky at all.
Yeah, I feel as though Siki has been a little bit quiet. Delusion hasn't got a lot of chances either. I think that's the telling point, is the fact they haven't created a lot for him to capitalise on. And going forward from that, if you're not creating chances, you're not going to score goals.
Well, there's opportunities that come up for Perth Ground Zero, but Melbourne Order pretty strict on their defense here, and we now have to look at the cost of this second game. Melbourne Order taking a 2-0 lead. Perth Ground Zero in the semi-finals, they're looking a little bit shaky, and Melbourne Order are just constricting them down. And game number 2, Melbourne Order, it looks like they'll take it here. And we question, is game 3 going to be any different? Are we going to see what we saw in the Chiefs series where upsets made or challenges being placed on both teams? Find out. Melbourne Order, game 2's theirs.
Just now, it's all over, I guess, bar the shouting between these two teams, and maybe able to get themselves another goal here. Shady denied at the very last moment, but Perth Ground Zero, as we said, not playing the game that they definitely would have wanted to play going into this. We saw them play in the regular season.
Yeah.
And Perth Ground Zero were so fast on the ball. They're not able to get that speed. They don't have the boost in the reserve to do it here because they're being restricted for long periods of time. They're defending for long periods of time. And Melbourne Order, everything for them is going according to game plan.
It is. And their game plan during regular split was, okay, we can beat Perth Ground Zero. There were expectations placed amongst them that Melbourne Order would be the better team. And this is now where they're performing, where it counts. And as Delusion said in the interview before the game, we'll just have to play on the day. We'll just have to see how we go, play when, what matters is the semi-finals here. This is what counts.
That's it. And in match number 1 and match number 2, each player from Melbourne Order has actually scored, so 1 goal apiece.
Nice.
Interesting that sharing really is caring in this instance, but they get themselves a victory in the series. That now moves them into a better position going into, I guess, the remaining matches. But, I mean, if Perth Ground Zero want to get themselves back into the series, this is going to 6 games at a minimum.
Well, it has to. At this stage, Perth Ground Zero, they've fallen behind. The Melbourne Order, all they need is 2 more games. We haven't seen a 4-0, or we haven't seen a shutout since league play, which was last week anyway. So, I mean...
it's been so long.
It's been so long. It's been at least a week.
It's been at least 80 years.
It feels, and in Luke's time, that is a long time. I'm concerned right now. Melbourne Order showcasing their best. Perth Ground Zero. If this continues to happen, then how much of an impact will they have in future games? We're going to have to find out. We're about to jump into game number 3, and Perth Ground Zero have an opportunity here. They need to start winning games. They need to start winning them now. Game 3 of this best of 7 for the second semi-finals. And here we go. They
know they're capable of it too. That's the thing. They've done it once before. They've got that mental edge. This is what they need to draw on. They know.
Oh, that's not a good start, Jim Nessa. It's not what you want. Melbourne Order, couple of shots to kick off game 3, and oh boy.
Sirix narrowly keeping that one out too.
But now on the defensive side, Melbourne Order, can Perth Ground Zero do anything with it from the corner again? Directs itself towards them, but 2 members commit for the ball. The pass back doesn't exist, and Melbourne Order just playing with it. They have so much time. Shady will pop it up, and the defense holds out easily.
Never play with your food, Jake.
No.
Is one lesson I have learnt in my time.
Well, at the moment, they're not a meal.
They're looking the whole snack, though. That's
they're a snack pack, that's right. Shot towards net. Away by Shady from the backboard. Delusion, not the touch he wanted. Sirix to correct it. Express will just launch it to Dumbo. The intercept turns into a demo. Ziggy takes him out, but Express and Shady still able to push up the field. Slow and steady, wins the race. Express commits for that ball as well. Shady with the intercept there, and Perth Ground Zero. Now an opportunity strikes as they go wide. Ziggy was angling that one towards the net, but it hits the backboard.
This play right now between the two teams is just a tussle and bustle in the midfield as they wrestle for supremacy. Melbourne Order just again heaping on that pressure. Perth Ground Zero's chance goes begging.
Ziggy comes back in, trying to cement it, and he just can't. Perth Ground Zero really struggling here, and now off the corner, can Delusion get anything done? He pops it up from the right corner. Ziggy's there. And when it counts, Perth Ground Zero have really struggled in these high-pressure situations. The ball's bouncing towards net. And I have to say again, this is one of those moments. Perth Ground Zero missed out on the World Championship. And it was painful to see, but you said, look, people said they deserve to go, but you put them in moments like this. And Perth Ground Zero, they need to perform at the standard that we expect. Game 3, no goal just yet. And for Melbourne Order, they're performing at the standard that we expect. That bump from Express, deny from the pass from Ziggy.
Well, we saw that in the previous game. A few bumps there really upsets the momentum of the team. And if you can't get yourself into position because you're being bumped out of the way, it's very, very difficult to get yourself re-coordinated in that regard here. But Perth Ground Zero have a chance here to break away, just take on Express, but he does a great job of blocking that out as well. And Melbourne Order have looked very, very solid so far in defence, and going forward in attack, they've been creating so well. Everybody's had opportunities. We looked at the score sheet from the last match. So many opportunities created by Melbourne Order that Perth Ground Zero, by comparison, looked rather vacant, but need to take chances like that. That's what's not going their way. The fact that they're not cementing these chances and converting them into goals has really hurt them.
Well, this should be one. There's an opening there for Delusion, but the ball just didn't carry enough. And now from the corner, can Ziggy get anything done? The question I keep on asking. Melbourne Order dealing with 2 attackers with 1 defender right now. Shady will drop the ball down. Ziggy intercept, but Express just blocks it. An easy block at that. And Melbourne Order not looking phased at all by Perth Ground Zero.
No, the shot, unfortunately, didn't have too much direction on it either. Didn't really do enough to get past the goalkeeper. And Trying to combine there.
There's a
That
pitch
one up the
down.
platter.
Express. Touch up, that's all that they needed.
And there's a demolition. That's a touch-up and a half. But going to need to go forward now. Capitalise just on the moments where they've got less to worry about here. But Ground Zero looking for that ball to centre. Can't quite find it. That releases Shady here. And now pressure being heaped on by Perth Ground Zero, but no conversion thus far. Here we go, though.
Finally over the top, Perth Ground Zero's strike. And that is what we were waiting for. And it comes out of Siki, no less. So there is hope. Perth Ground Zero, they can switch on after this. And they can start bringing back this series.
Hopefully they finally start to come alive in this series. As we said, this is do or die. This is no matches next week. If you lose, that's it. Your season is done. And you take that third, fourth place. But could they be joining Avant in the final? I mean, I didn't think I'd be saying that previously. So Rocket League really proves anything can happen if you do the fundamentals right.
That's a dangerous touch. Zerix missed it. But it's okay, Melbourne Order. Still looking for that first goal. The bump out of net. Express, what a bump it is. One more touch. Dumbo backs into it. And let's just take a step back and look at what Express truly did.
Yeah, so Dumbo just setting that ball up. But there was the bump in the back of the net. It actually was recovered quite well, but they couldn't do enough there in the end. They cleared themselves out. And Dumbo just right place, right time. Did a good job in the build-up, actually. But it was all on that grunt work, that bump in the goal that really set things up.
Well, Melbourne Order, 40 seconds remaining. They lob it to net again. Siki just to the side. Delusion looking to carry it forward, but again, denied by Melbourne Order. They come back in. Dumbo misses out on the contest, and Shady will just have to clear it himself. 20 seconds remaining. And Melbourne Order have a challenge here to bring this game 3 back from the brink of 1 goal. They've equalised it, but how much further will it go? Delusion out, leaving the ball up to Siki. Express from the corner. This is going to be the last play from Melbourne Order or Ground Zero. Who gets the ball first? It's Shady from the corner. Then towards net. Zerix is there. Express back and forth over the top. They're trying to keep it up, but Dumbo cannot. Overtime, game 3.
This is where the pressure that Melbourne Order have been able to put onto Perth Ground Zero is really going to show. It's really going to tell.
Yeah.
But they're on equal footing right now, and Perth Ground Zero get themselves a nice release here in this lovely home.
Shady
asks a lot of questions of him.
But there's answers there from Shady. Still on the defensive side, Melbourne Order managing to clear the ball. 20 seconds into overtime. Shady pops it up. Over 1. That's Delusion. Zerix comes back in. Express leaves it up to Dumbo now. The touch comes back in from Zerix. Express back over to Dumbo. Keeping it around this corner. Struggling to clear it a little bit here, Melbourne Order, but Perth Ground Zero keeping control of the ball. That touch not ideal. Gives possession back over to Melbourne Order. From the corner, Siki doesn't get a good touch either, and immediately Zerix has to come back in. They get it back up the side of the field, but scary stuff here. 50 seconds. And Zerix will just lob it. Met by Shady. Dumbo still here. An interesting touch forward, but pressure now on both teams.
Just a question of whether or not who potentially makes a mistake first as well, because that's a lot of pressure being heaped on individuals. Often cracks start to show under pressure. Neither of these two teams managed to find any leeway just yet, but
close call.
Very close call there. There was a question asked of Shady earlier. That could have been the difference here, but Zerix again just looking for that backboard, looking to put pressure on. The clearances are very much directed towards that backboard.
Oh, the demo's there though. Gymnasto, Siki's in! And Ground Zero find their first game.
The back of that demolition too, just leaving them momentarily without one at the back, and you can see they were just scrambling in the defense there. Siki pounces on that one, and whilst it hasn't been a typical Siki performance so far, he comes through at the right moment for the team, and that is important, very important for the team.
I mean, Siki did exactly that in that game. Both goals scored by him. And I want to see more out of Delusion Zerix. I'm not seeing really enough. The great setups again by the side of Perth Ground Zero, but I'm looking for more answers than that. One game taken by Perth Ground Zero is good. It's a start, but Melbourne Order still at moments of that game felt like they had control.
Yeah, just to express with that bump there in that goal. For a moment, I thought, here we go. Melbourne Order potentially going to get themselves back into it. Things are swinging back in their favour. They're doing a good job of just piling pressure on Perth Ground Zero. Yep. But there it was. There was the release for Perth Ground Zero in that overtime. And going forward, looking at Perth Ground Zero, Siki had a much better performance there. 6 shots, 2 goals as a result of it as well. And you're quite right in saying that we haven't seen enough of Sirix in his usual performance. And even Delusion has been a little bit quiet too. Perth Ground Zero take that win. Very important. It's very difficult to come back from 3-0 in a series. Get yourself back in with that reverse sweep.
Normally someone is smiling at the camera there, Delusion, but looking a little bit nervous, rightly so. 2-1 from Melbourne Auto after Perth Ground Zero take that game 3. We are going to take a short break, and when we return, game 4 to see what happens next. And welcome back to the Gfinity Elite Series here. Jim Nesso, Hysterics, you know as well. We're in the middle of a series. If you just caught us unaware, that's fine. It's like stepping into a bear trap and realizing, well, you know, that's it. We're now going to go through with it.
Your analogies are on point this week.
Yeah, actually, no, that was I think the worst one out of all of them.
Suddenly Enya.
I have to say, Perth Ground Zero Game 3, a better finish.
Actually, that's a really good collaboration too.
Is it?
Metallica and Enya Sandman.
Oh.
We're done.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, for now at least. Perth Ground Zero, what can they do in Game 4? Is this going to make a difference? I think, is Delusion's family in the audience again? I'm not sure. No. That was a big no. All right. Well, I'll find out maybe if we get to a Game 6 or a Game 7. But the support was there. Perth Ground Zero on the defensive again. Same support needed. Express passes back. Now for Melbourne Order, do not forget, this is the team that were favoured to win. And you can see why. Long field passing plays. Shady's just been opened up again. This is what happens. Perth Ground Zero under the fire.
You can't give open net to Shady.
Express just like bullying Delusion again.
I know.
Stop it.
Man's an absolute thug on the field, but he's giving his team so much opportunity as a result of the work he's doing, just harassing the defence, making sure they're never comfortable, always looking over their shoulder, seeing if someone is actually looking for that demolition as well. So very, very much a threat coming from both ends of the field. Melbourne Order.
Dumbo up for the ball. Delusion and Siki applying that set pressure there, Gimnesso. Shady gets demo, but it doesn't stop the clear from Melbourne Order. From the corner, they commit forward, and this might be a good moment. Perth Ground Zero. Shady's the only one there, but two members go forward. Siki is the last one back, and this is going to open Shady up. Dumbo's committing as well. But Melbourne Order. Okay, there was a play there waiting. Siki, a good save away from Express.
Just keeping that ball in a danger zone here. Melbourne Order. Making sure that Perth Ground Zero really have to work for it. They haven't cleared the ball far away enough yet. At least not out of the claws of Melbourne Order. And just missing is that midfield again. Contest rages on, but for the moment Melbourne Order have control. As Perth Ground Zero, they can just absorb the pressure, continue to try and look for that clearance, and they haven't got themselves enough boost here because they're all getting caught out of position, and
it's just going over the net time and time again. Melbourne Order not stopping, and Dumbo's come forward. Shady sits in the midfield so he can just get an instant clear like this. They lob it against the wall, and Melbourne Order in great position once again. Zirix Delusion in the same corner, past centre. Zirix,
great block.
Thinking that was Siki actually who blocked it away. Perth Ground Zero continue to be on the defense though. Shady pops it back, Dumbo's there. What can be done? Not much. Delusion back here again. The bounce is there. Demo's there as well. But you just need to get it in. You gave Shady freedom, and Melbourne Order defend a sinking goal.
That should have been converted by Perth Ground Zero there. That was their chance to get themselves back on equal pegging. So unfortunately, in that regard, they have to build it up again. They have to get going again, but they do need to.
Oh, that's a monster clear.
It is, but it's met well in the midfield. Express not letting that one go, and there's a chance.
Fine, bounces down. Delusion just needs to knock it in. They can't convert. And Melbourne Order again, hold on. Perth Ground Zero getting so close here. From the corner, Siki brings it back down. Opportunities as it lands in that goal square, but suddenly it's already gone. Melbourne Order have shooed the ball back up. And after a quick sneeze, they blow their nose with it, and that's it.
However, we will reserve the tissues for later.
Well, no issues just yet, Gimnesso. Melbourne Order still hold one, but there's opportunities as the shot comes through. Dumbo, great save.
He's pulled out two of those great saves before, just using the crossbar to get rid of that ball before, and it was close, but it worked. Probably a little bit too close to the crossbar for his liking.
And at 45. Was Sirix, the pass is good, but angle needs to be even better. Perth Ground Zero getting close. But Express now for the play. Pushes it forward. A great clear from Delusion. Will centre the ball, but Shady, not the optimal touch. Sirix over to the Delusion. Delusion has to recover from his angle, but Dumbo will get an easy read on it. Siki, the last member. It pinches over towards Sirix and Shady, but Melbourne Order playing for time with their one goal. Delusion goes over the ball, and Sirix is just going to have to lob it up. What's made of it? Delusion popping. Siki there, dropping. And Perth Ground Zero in front of that net. I have to say, they're getting so close. Zirix off the back wall. Siki's there. And you're clenching your fists right now if you're a Perth Ground Zero fan.
So many chances there that are being met really well by Melbourne Order. In that defence, they've looked solid. They've been meeting the challenges, rising high, and putting pressure on. This Delusion turns saviour there.
They're just putting that pressure on, like you said. It's so dangerous right now. Melbourne Order, it looks clinical almost. They lob it back down. Dumbo cements it to stay in the side of the field. As he lands, Express and Shady are already ready for the ball. The lob up to set Express, and no one's in net. Sirix has to commit for it. The pinch out. 30 seconds remaining.
Here we go.
Finally, there's one. All that pressure comes to an end at 24 seconds.
They were working and working and working for this goal. How many tense moments did they have, Jake? How many times Did you stand there thinking that you were going to be calling a goal for Perth Ground Zero and it never eventuated? Finally it does. 24 seconds left to win it in regulation, but I see overtime here.
I mean, production knew these lights, these normally turn off, but it's that intense of a game. They've left it on. Sticky again!
Oh, there it is.
How does he do it? Well, a kickoff goal will do it.
He finds himself a nice second goal there. Sirik's doing a good job of just holding that ball up, maintaining that presence. But Siki doing the finishing job there.
Rare. Not often do you talk up Siki in a series. In a series. Yeah, in a series. Wow. I don't know how I walked into that one.
This is Sirik's business, mate.
Man, you don't want to get delusional about your plays. 15 seconds remaining. Melbourne Order. Right where they want to be, but they have to score. Time's running out. And this could be an equaliser here from Perth Ground Zero. They lob it down in the corner, it lies. Express has to make sure it stays up, but Siki launches it around. Delusion comes in as well, and this one's going wide. It will hit. And Perth Ground Zero, they're back where they want to be, 2-2.
And there we go. There is still a lot of life left in this series. You can see these two teams, they know each other well. They play each other so often in that regard, and they meet each other in these, I guess, pointy ends of competitions often. So they're familiar with how it's going to roll out. However, individuals prove to be the difference there. Siki far more forward, far more involved there. 4 shots, 2 goals, conversion rate on point. Shady, though, was looking menacing early on, and there were so many times there where Perth Ground Zero came so close to flipping things back in their favour.
Oh, you'd be hurting if, after all that, after those 2 minutes of attempted goals, that nothing came through. Perth Ground Zero, though, I want to bring it back to Siki again, because Sirix has been having a very good elite series, in my opinion. I think Delusion has had moments where we've given him MVP a couple of times. Have we talked enough about Siki? Not really. This could be the series where he defines himself, considering he's now just equalised.
That's right. I mean, in terms of what his contribution is to this team, it's come to the forefront this week.
It has.
Because in previous weeks, it has been Delusion, it has been Sirix that is going forward for them, and they have looked good on the back of that. However, when you're playing well, you need every member to step up. And that's what we talked about when we talked about the Chiefs. When it was someone wasn't delivering, usually someone else was stepping up in their place. They all had off days in that regard.
Yeah.
But at least in this regard for Perth Ground Zero, Siki is standing up when Sirius and Delusion aren't quite having the games that they want.
And we're looking at the pinapple of their play. We need to make sure it hits its mark. Game 5 begins now. Melbourne Order. Can they retain that strength?
You are a fine apple indeed, my friend, Jet.
Perth Ground Zero, I've learned off the best, obviously. Now in front of net, this is a quick opening, but it will just roll across. Doesn't stop there, though. Sirix, last touch. And Dumbo's still here. Good pitch out. That one's rolling towards the other side of the field. Now for Melbourne Order, a clear should come easy, but Delusion comes in fast. What we wanted to see from Perth Ground Zero was that fast play. And it's going to take a big game 5 for them to do it.
Delusion.
Like this.
Oh, that's where he looks at his most menacing too. Hitting balls off those backboard is his specialty. And he makes it look so easy, always in the challenge as well. No matter how far away he seems to be from that ball, always gets himself in for what looks like a 50-50.
Perth Ground Zero right where they need to be. Demolition onto Shady. Express gets the ball, and that was a crucial touch, but maybe Sirius can do something. Goes wide again, and pinch up. Not over yet. Perth Ground Zero, who's coming in for the ball? It's Siki, but Dumbo lobs it around. Shady gets demoed. A lot more explosions out of Perth Ground Zero. So that aggressive play we were talking about, seeing a bit more. Siki the response. Delusion up for the ball, but he's run out of boost. And it'll come back to a standstill. A good touch there by Shady will turn into a shot, saved away. Delusion turns it into one of his own, but Shady saves it too.
That, for Perth Ground Zero, is the maintenance of pressure and possession. But Perth Ground Zero have done a good job of just turning that pressure into attack. They've got themselves into a good position here, but the clearance comes through for Perth Ground Zero, so Dumbo just trying to keep that ball in the midfield for the moment. Rotations from Perth Ground Zero have been good, far better in this last match than they were in the opening 2 matches of the series.
A lot more shots as well from both sides.
Exactly. They're going forward and they're creating. And we talked about it before. Perth Ground Zero created a lot of chances. They did not finish them, though. They need to be a little bit more clinical in that regard.
Well, they're still in front of net, right where they want to be. Siki leaves it for Sirix. The shot onto the crossbar. Siki the final one. Blocked away by Express. And the aggravating play might come to an end as Sirix up again. Shady just clears it out. Now Shady back in and good towards net. Save. As Sicky's had a monstrous series. Can he continue? Maybe not. Express, the touch is there. Shady with the shot. And he'll nail it down.
And as the chance goes begging at one end, a few sequences of play later, it's actually Melbourne Order that capitalise on that entirely. Put that ball in the back of net. Shady, great talisman so far for Melbourne Order. Continues to add to his record as well. So Perth Ground Zero need to find an answer here. They were going well. They were creating chances. It's just that clinical approach in front of goal. That conversion rate has suffered as a result of this game.
Perth Ground Zero in a bit of a dire straits now.
Doing the walk of life.
But it's not over yet. 2 minutes 20. In the corner. Dumbo loses it to Sicky, and this is where Shady comes into play. Off that back wall again, Shady takes a second touch. Xerix on the defense, but they've been struggling on the defense. Two members commit for that ball. Express is back up again. Sicky, just face it away. Dumbo and Shady don't need to come back up. Now they need to switch to defense. Xerix taking it off the roof. He's had a great Gfinity so far. We're looking for him to step back up, as it were. A minute 50 remaining. And how does this come into play for Perth Ground Zero? It is a question we will continue to ask as they're back on the offense.
Ball can be kept in the zone here by Perth Ground Zero. So they just look to maintain pressure. Xerix again, just harassing that back end.
Oh no, what a steal from Sicky! Oh, that sings if you're Melbourne Order. Not a good one scored by Perth Ground Zero.
He's been the difference, hasn't he? Just sneaking that one through the defense.
Xerix bullying as well, which was nice to see, despite bullying being not good.
As that attack fizzled out too, Xerix almost immediately turned into, I guess, harassment mode. He was harassing the defense, going through, bullying them, making sure they couldn't get any hits. And no turtle, no thank you.
Well, it was nice to see. Touch there from Shady. To the other corner it goes. Xerix now meets with a friendly enemy. Unfriendly. Xerix sets one in. Wow. If that doesn't get you motivated, Xerix, I don't know what will.
Here's the thing too, Perth Ground Zero left it to the last 24 seconds of the last match to score. It took them 4 seconds to find another goal.
They didn't do it on purpose.
They found another goal in quick succession. So for them, when the momentum swings heavily, you said they were in dire straits before, they're the salt of the swing.
Well, money for nothing and Shady for free, he says. 2-all. Off the kickoff. Man, tell me what, Gimnesso, go for it.
This match just keeps on delivering time and time again.
Well, might be time for these guys to drink it through. It's 2-all, it's game 5, and one moment defines them now. As for Xerix, he's had one pitch of a goal. This one will hit the roof. Melbourne Order in good position again. Delusion back. Launches it to the corner, but two members are up for the ball. Sicky and Delusion both went for that, and now the counter-attack is launched from Melbourne Order in front of net. Dumbo sits it back. Shady off that backboard. Express is nowhere in sight, though. The Xerix will just take it to the centre field. And back again for Express off that backboard. Shady coming through. And he's already back. 30 seconds remaining, 2-all. But Shady, look at this angle. Will hit the backboard. Express is there. But what a block from Sicky, who is having such a great series.
End to end, he has been the player for Perth Ground Zero to look out for. He's delivered in front of goals. He's been standing in front of goal, keeping that ball at bay as well. We saw there a timely save for Perth Ground Zero. But again,
oh no.
Melbourne Order are looking dangerous here, Jake.
It's so dangerous. They're just giving them freedom. Perth Ground Zero have to be careful. Dumbo and Express off the side. Dumbo now recovers, turns back around off that backboard. Then look, 5 seconds might just drop because Perth on the offense won't happen here. It'll hit the ground. Game 5, overtime. Here we go.
We knew this series was going to be close. We looked at the first 2 matches. We thought Perth Ground Zero were out of sorts here. Melbourne Order were looking very good, but they've turned it around.
Beautiful touch from Shady. Express there on the defense. Now watch for Melbourne Order. If they cannot get the ball through Perth Ground Zero, the intercepts are going to make a change. 20 seconds, and they've managed to do that. Dumbo in front of net. A good clear away. Perth Ground Zero stay alive for now.
Sicky just looking to continue this attacking play here. Delusion can't quite get that ball he needs, but Shady just gets that one out. They can't lock it into the midfield here.
Oh no, 2 defenders go up for the ball, but it goes wide from Shady. Melbourne Order, they're still continuing on. Xerix and Sicky clear it to the side, but Shady's committed forward. The pitch up, Express is there, but blocked again by Delusion. They're not done. Shady keeps bringing the ball back in. And Dumbo keeps it to a standstill, but finally Perth Ground Zero have broken free of the chains held by Melbourne Order. It goes to the centre, the pass is long, and Melbourne Order again, back where they want to be. The shot there, they commit, both of them. And because of that, they don't get the goal.
And if you're a Perth Ground Zero fan, your heart is in your mouth because that ball is in the goal.
It is if you're a Melbourne Order fan as well, Jim Nesso.
Tell you what, tension here between the two teams, but this deadlock has to be broken. Golden goal here. First to score will win it. Shady has been so good up in attack. Needs to be good here and solid in defence.
This is where they want to be. From the corner. Siki now pops it up for Sirix. The shot goes high, backboard. Siki brings it back up. The third member, Delusion, denied by Dumbo. Siki still here. Sirix intercepts. Delusion with a touch. Just sits in that goal square. 145. And now from that centre field, Siki, the pass interrupted by Shady. Melbourne Order working their way back to Perth Ground Zero's net. This overtime, yes, it is a deadlock, Jim Nesso, but will it end here?
Oh.
Shady's there. Demo onto Shady from Sirix. May have made the difference.
Needed that demo too because he was lurking in that box looking to just put that ball away, but this releases Perth Ground Zero somewhat. That ball doesn't find its mark. Gives Melbourne Order an opportunity here, and they need to get those passing plays going. That's exactly what they're trying to do, but there's no one further forward as Perth Ground Zero are going to look to build again.
Sirix now with the ball. Loses it to Sirix. Siki, excuse me, but Express the intercept there. Shady trying to hit the heels of Sirix. Dumbo the last defender. He'll just launch it up to clear there. But down goes Siki. Shady the defender. Delusion hanging back. No one really wants to overcommit here. Shady again off that back wall. Dumbo centers it. Express not in the right position. He'll try and hit it to the corner, but Sirix, he found the breakaway. Delusion's coming as well. The goal was there. The shot saved away by Shady, but Siki brings it back into fruition. Sirix is coming up as well, but the creep up might not work here. Hits the roof, going towards net, but Dumbo clears it away again. Siki the pinch from the corner. That's an opening. That's a mistake, but Shady still manages to save it.
Saviour, one end of the field.
Oh no! Shady from the corner. And Perth Ground Zero have to be fuming at that one. But 3 minutes 11 into overtime, game 5, Melbourne Order take the lead and are now on match point.
3 seconds ago, Shady was blocking that net. 3 seconds later, he's found himself scoring a goal at the other end. I'll tell you what, that is a hard knock there from the captain of Melbourne Order.
It is.
And he's done a good job. He's actually got them to win there in overtime. You could see both the two teams, the amount of shots that they both had on goal, and the conversion rate did suffer. But look at those saves. Goalkeepers were tested, and they rose to the occasion.
Well, we are absolutely not going to pause here. We're going to throw to a break, and when we return, see if Melbourne Order can close it out or if Ground Zero can take us to a Game 7. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Gfinity Elite Series presented by Alienware. My name is Jake Zerk Sotipenko, James Jim Nesso Cowan, and Game 6 is upon us. Not only upon us, it is time to celebrate because we could have another Game 7. Well, we could have our first Game 7. Yeah, it felt like Game 7 in the last series.
Well, we're going to have we are going to have another Game 6 at the very least in that regard. So, in terms of what is on the line here for these two teams, a berth in the grand final, a lot of pride, prestige. So,
but you can say a lot of
big, a lot of presents on the line.
Your organisation will give you many presents.
There will be Christmas in July if you get to the grand final.
I know Jake Sport Tiberia will be very happy if Melbourne Order can make it to the grand final, but they've got to get there first. Perth Ground Zero on the verge of collapse here in Game 6, but again, not over yet. Here we go. Melbourne Order. They have shut out Perth Ground Zero in multiple games in this series. Can they do it again? That shot wide. But Siki will be there to launch it up anyway.
Delusion, just looking for that infield pass there. Actually gets met really well. Dumbo pushing that one away from him now. Express has been menacing. He's linked up really well with Shady actually in the process of this match, but we'll need to do it again and again just to make sure that Melbourne Order can take this victory away.
Well, this one angling in against the wall, and Perth Ground Zero already had a couple of shots here as the 4-minute mark hits. Getting control on that map is what we've talked about here today. The Sirix off the corner, needs to angle Express, it goes wide. A touchdown would have been better for Shady, but they digress forward. Melbourne Order in a good position again, Dumbo with the bounce. Delusion with the clear, Express comes back in once more. And Melbourne Order unrelenting on this attack, giving no bars to Perth Ground Zero. I mean, their service provider right now is unhappy, but they're still not giving them any bars. 3 minutes 30. And Sirix tries to get a pass, but they can't.
They're trying to connect here, but in terms of what Melbourne Order are doing is they're just trying to constrict their opponents.
Great touch.
Perth Ground Zero looking for the opportunities here, but that is a great release here. Shady menacing so many times before, and that is the angle we've seen him hit before. As Perth Ground Zero find themselves an opening here. Can they be first that ball? They've got to beat out Shady. They can't do so, but they need to just continue that ball on through. It's getting locked up in midfield.
But getting shut down by their passing plays, that's what Melbourne Order are doing. Perth Ground Zero cannot complete them. Getting first to the ball, Express hits it up. Very quick reaction from Delusion, a hard one to save. It rolls off the top of his car, and Melbourne Order get another shot on the board. As Sirix launches it for a clear. Delusion there as well. He doesn't hit it. And now it's just sent downfield again. Siki will roll it away as Perth Ground Zero find themselves in a very familiar position on the defense. Shady off the backboard, now dunks it down, can't get it through. Yes, I agree. 2 minutes 30.
The backboard pressure from Melbourne Order is, for the moment, not being dealt with by Perth Ground Zero. They're having some difficulty, particularly as the attack enters its third, fourth, fifth phase. They don't have the boost to deal with it, and that's where things look really, really menacing here. And Perth Ground Zero give themselves an outlet. They get that ball forward. They look to collect some boost here. Go forward with the attack. Siki linking up really well here. He's been a revelation for them.
It.
And there he is again.
Finally getting on the board. Perth Ground Zero turned one attack into a goal. And Siki, it is his series. If they can bring this to a Game 7, it'll be all about Siki. We said, hey, Delusion, the one to watch, always the one to watch, alongside Sirix. Not today.
Melbourne Order have done a great job of shutting those two out of this match so far, but they did not account for Siki being in such good form right now. He's looked good end-to-end, but there's a chance again.
Great save. Siki again just intercepts the ball, denies the shot. Express was at the perfect angle there with Shady. Now again, attack continuing there from Melbourne Order. No!
Sirix.
Sirix just unfortunate. Yeah, that's the word for it. Oh no. So Melbourne Order, they equalise. 1 minute 30.
Perth Ground Zero back to the drawing board here. Done a good job of getting themselves the opening goal, but they're going to need to ask more of this defence. And that is a very direct way of asking a question. Sirix putting a shot on goal here, but easily dealt with by Melbourne Order. They've looked quite good, quite solid in defence, but there's a chance.
It hits down, and what a shot. Melbourne Order down 1 goal, no more. And we saw this out of Jake and Torsos from the Chiefs last week. Now Melbourne Order recreate it with Express.
Express beats out Siki there too. Siki was up in the mix once again. He's in everything at the moment. Siki end to end is having an impact, but they're gonna ask more of him once again. Here is Delusion. Can't quite get that connection there. Can't quite dunk it down. But again, they're gonna try and keep that ball in the danger zone of Demolition there. Unfortunately, no one can capitalize on that one. Sirix is out of the mix for the moment. Express does a great job of clearing it, but at ground zero, the defensive passes now.
Oh no.
Can't miss those.
You really can't. Siki hits it against the backboard, the dunk again, and trying to slam the ball into the back of the net. 50 seconds remaining as Melbourne Order sit in front of that goal square. Express won't get the shot, but he'll keep it down this side of the field. And now for Dumbo, the shot's there. Is it all over? Orange Rover.
Orange Rover. Well, there's a tinge of yellow in there now.
There has to be some kind of colourful ending for Perth Ground Zero. At 45 seconds, 2 goals. Melbourne Order
Been listening to too much Coldplay.
have the chance to close this one out.
Perth Ground Zero, a lot to ask for them to get 2 goals in this instance, and it's going to be on the back of Delusion maybe coming to life here in this series. Siki has been great for them so far, but he needs to get that ball away. He can't get it past Dumbo. Dumbo keeps the pressure on. And with that 30-second timer coming up, the pressure is astounding.
Great pass to Shady. Look at Dumbo. He's cheering after that one. And that's what it's been for Melbourne Order in this last game. A bit of fun and a great way to finish the series. Perth Ground Zero have run out of time here. And with that final clear, Melbourne Order in game number 6. They will move forward. They will face Avant. And not even the last goal will save Perth Ground Zero. They come close. But Jim Nesso, Melbourne Order will go on to face our champions of Avant. They took down Chiefs.
They did.
Melbourne Order have to be careful moving forward. So they win the semi-finals. And now it's up to them to verse Avant and see how that results.
Well, I mean, in terms of Melbourne Order, they did all the right things in that regard. Express wasn't he on form. Absolutely banging in goals left, right and centre. Shady also doing a good job. In terms of defence, he was everywhere across the pitch. Dumbo was also releasing those players, doing the work defensively too, but these guys have looked their best when they've had Dumbo in the roster as well. So I think in terms of what they're bringing to the Elite Series, they certainly hit their stride. Perth Ground Zero will be a little bit disappointed. There were so many chances they created. They couldn't find the final connection on.
I think to take it to Game 6 is still a good testament from Perth Ground Zero. I know they won't be happy with the performance considering that they beat Melbourne Order in league play pretty convincingly as well. So now we question, what happens with Melbourne Order going up against It's the Melbourne versus Melbourne final, I just realised.
Oh yeah, there will be parties in the laneways, lattes being sipped left, right
extra
and
frothy.
centre.
Yeah. So, Melbourne versus Melbourne final. That's it for the semis here today. We are going to throw it back to Luke for that final wrap-up.
Yes, Melbourne Order proving too good. Melbourne versus Melbourne final coming up next week. Perth Ground Zero just couldn't get there. We will be getting into the analysis right after this short break. This is Rocket League, brought to you by Astro Headsets and Dare Iced Coffee. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to the Gfinity Elite Series presented by Alienware. We are looking at some of the highlights from that last match. Melbourne Order going through to the first grand final here at the Gfinity Elite Series in Australia. Very exciting, an all-Melbourne final we're looking at. And joining us at the desk right now is the man himself, the legend. Please go absolutely nuts for Melbourne Order and their captain Shady. Come on guys, make some noise. Well done, man. You must be pretty stoked to be going through the grand final, hey?
Yeah, for sure. The first Gfinity Elite Series, it's good to be in the grand final and giving it our best so far, so hopefully we can take it out.
Yeah, cool, man. Now, is it going to be much different for you heading into this next week? Training-wise, you're going to be taking it more seriously, more intensely?
Not really, no. We're just going to keep doing the same thing we've been doing. It seems to be working because we're in the grand final, so we're just going to come in next week with a good mindset and, yeah, hopefully we'll get a result.
Yeah, cool, man.
Speaking of next week, how happy are you that Avant caused the upset today?
Yeah, very happy. Makes our life a little bit easier going to the grand final. You know, Chiefs' best team in Australia. They're very talented individuals, and sad that they happen to lose today. But what can you do?
In regards to Ground Zero, what did you think of their performance today?
I feel like they had a bit of a slow start. We came out of the gates pretty hot. We found it pretty easy the first couple of games, and then they kind of clawed their way back into it, and they started to play well again. But yeah, we were just a stronger team today.
Yeah, we're heading into the analysis now, and that first two games, we're looking at Siki because he did not perform in those first two games. He got a goal, but he was getting a lot of misses. He was releasing a lot of pressure for that team and causing a lot of issues. And it wasn't until game 3 that he stepped it up.
And I think on the flip side, you have like players like Express, who I think was up there with you, really helping out the team. He was pretty consistent all the way through, and then he had moments in defense where he really shone. I think that really helped.
So I felt that in defense, Express was being too scared a lot of the times, but that is counter to how you guys played in attack. You were aggressively 50ing, you got so many dunks, and it really felt like you were controlling the game in offense.
Yeah, we tried to take our time a little bit more in defense, make sure we're not making any critical mistakes that Ground Zero happened to make today. So we tried to do the opposite of what they were doing, and yeah.
I think the pacing as well is a little bit different, because typically when we see you guys, there's tons of demos coming out, a nice even distribution of shots between you. But it seems like you had some stylistic change versus the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, look, we just tried to shoot a lot today, and we didn't get in for the demos as much as we probably could have or should have, but in the end we didn't really need to.
You went for a lot of demos, especially in the games like 3, 4, maybe even 5, the ones where it sort of looked like you're struggling and they weren't working. Did you at some point being like, say something along the lines of, let's stop it, let's just play our game, let's just try and score the goals?
Oh yeah, something clicked in the back of our heads. We're just like, look, we don't need to be doing this. We don't need to be putting ourselves out of the game going for just pointless demos when we can just hit the backboard and we'll have a free shot after that.
This was a tough one. This one was when we thought the Perth Ground Zero could be making the comeback where Express didn't get the best clear. Sterix followed it up with an immediate goal. Did you feel put upon by this, or were you still comfortable in this game 5?
No, our whole mindset for the entire game, we were pretty comfortable. Even when we were down, we tried to just maintain, look, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to come in, clean heads, and yeah.
Great end of game 6. I'm going to call him out. Sterix with those 2 own goals. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it's a bit uncharacteristic of them, but look, I can't complain. It helped us out in the end.
So maybe Sterix for the unofficial 4th member of Order, but it was very tough. You were putting on some banger of shots in those situations, and it was just the scenario that got to him. 2-1, and then that final goal by Siki, a consolation goal, but you guys played really well across the series.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah, it was a great showing by you guys, taking down your rivals as well, locking down that second place, the huge share of the prize pool, and now you get to go up against Avant to take out the top. You reckon you got it?
Yeah, I reckon we do. Yeah.
Quietly confident?
Yeah, quietly confident. Quietly confident.
You're going to say 4-0. That's the big question.
Well, a great match from Melbourne Order. Going through to the final right now, let's find out who the Astro MVP is for that match. Righto, Yummy Courier, who is it?
It was a close battle once again, but Shady, the
convenient.
man of the hour, the captain of the team, was the one who really clutched it out. I felt he was not just really solid and monumental in attack, but also he was aggressively defending. He had 6 goals across the series, 14 saves, a big effort from him.
You can see it especially in the final game where he just single-handedly ran a mess through the opposition.
Yeah, I was trying to keep morale up in the team. I was getting really hyped up on stage, and I think I played one of my better games of the Gfinity Elite Series so far.
I think you all did as well. I think Dumbo played quite admirably compared to a nervous week 4. So coming through, Shady, stepping up on a team that played very well.
Awesome, and a key player going into the grand final. Congrats, Shady. You are the Astro MVP for that match. Nice work, dude.
Thank you.